Hey everybody, it's Kat here from Knit Cat Paddywhack. I'm here with another beginner knitting tutorial. Today I have one of my most popular patterns, which is available for free on my blog, so I'll link that below. But it is this headband. It is absolutely beginner friendly, and I call it the Garter Be Kidding Me bow headband, which doesn't really work with my accent, but you get the joke. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to make this. For this pattern you will need some yarn in double knitting or 8-ply weight. Choose something that's smooth, and I would not choose a cellulose fibre like cotton because that doesn't stretch too well, so I would go with acrylic or wool. You'll need some needles, 4mm, or the size required to meet your gauge, which is 22 stitches by 30 rows to make 10 centimeters squared. However, for this pattern, gauge or tension is not crucial. You'll need some good craft scissors, a tapestry needle, and a tape measure. The first thing you need to do is measure the head of the wearer around where the headband will sit. So this is Heavy Baby, my daughter named her, and she has the head circumference about that of an average size newborn baby. My baby's heads were never this small, but we're measuring where a headband would go, about there, and we've got, it's about 41 centimeters around, or 16 inches roughly. So our aim is to make the band about 3 inches shorter. So we're going to make a band that is about 13 inches long because this will stretch a lot. So the next thing we're going to do is knit the bow. So this is really, really simple. And because this is a beginner friendly pattern, I'm going to show you with the most beginner friendly cast on. So this is called the backwards loop cast on. So first of all we're going to tie a slip knot. So it's just like tying a regular knot, except instead of putting the end through the hole, we're putting just a loop through. So that means it's adjustable. And we're going to put that on one of our needles. Okay, so taking our thumb, left thumb, we're going to take it around the back of the yarn and just twist the yarn and put that loop onto the needle. So we've got 2 stitches there. We're going to keep doing this until we have 22 stitches. So there are our 22 stitches. Now this pattern is so great for beginners because the only stitch you are using is the knit stitch, and there are no increases or decreases or anything fancy. So if you've just been taught to cast on and cast off and do the knit stitch, you can make this headband. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the knit stitch, and when you're working back and forth and you do just knit stitch, this stitch is called garter stitch. And we're going to do this until we have knitted a square. You can tell that you have knitted a square by folding the bottom corner up to the top corner on the opposite side, and if this edge is the same size as this edge, then you've got yourself a square and we can cast off. So cast off in the usual way. We'll knit 2 stitches and then pass the first stitch over the second one, knit another stitch, pass the previous stitch over that one. We'll carry on until we get to the end. Now that we've got the last stitch left on the needle, we will take our scissors and cut a tail. Make sure it's at least a few inches long so it's easier to weave in the ends, and just pull that tail through the last stitch and you've cast off. So now we need to turn this into a bow. The first thing we need to do is weave in our ends, so we'll grab that cast off tail, pop it on our needle, and then we'll weave in our ends. So basically we're going to pass the needle through a couple of bumps, the bumps made by the knitting that we've done, and then so we'll pass it down and then we'll pass it up the next row. We'll do that a few more times. And then we're going to go back the way we came for a couple more stitches. And that's called weaving in ends. And you can just cut that fairly short. And we'll do the same for this tail as well. So taking our square of fabric, we're going to hold it so that the bumps are going horizontally rather than vertically, if that makes sense. So we've got rows of bumps instead of columns. And we're going to fold this into 5 to make our bow. So the easiest way to get it even, I find, is to fold it in half first and then fold it twice above that halfway point and twice below. Just like that. Now we're going to grab our yarn again. Tie a knot in the middle. And then we're going to wrap around that center about 20 times, but you can just eyeball it really and see how thick you want it to be. And there's our bow. So we're going to cut a tail that's again a few inches long. Thread our needle, and we're just going to secure this in the back. Just trying a little knot there. We'll leave that tail so we can sew it to the headband. The next thing to do is to knit our headband. So if you remember our measurement before of Heavy Baby's head, that was 16 inches around where we want the band to go. So we're going to take off 3 inches, so make it 13 inches. And so that is how long we're going to knit the band. So to begin with, we'll leave a short tail and cast on 10 stitches in the same way as we did before. And we're just going to knit in garter stitch, so that is knitting every row until we get to that 13 inches. So I have knitted my band and cast off in the same way as I did for the bow. So I knit this to 13 inches, which is 3 inches shorter than the head measurement that I made earlier, because this is stretchy. Oh, and I should add that when you are measuring this piece while you're knitting it, make sure you don't pull the knitting, because that will give you an inaccurate measurement. So the next thing we need to do is we need to sew it all together. So we'll first of all just weave in this cast on end here. Now with this one, we're going to do a seam. I think I put in the pattern notes to do a mattress stitch. It's not exactly a mattress stitch because these are cast on, cast off edges. Mattress stitch is usually done on vertical stitches, but if you're a beginner, don't worry too much about the seaming because it's going to be hidden anyway. So we're just going to do a whip stitch, I think. So basically we're going round and round, round and round and round, just to join them together. Okay, so that's the whip stitch seam, and that's what it looks like on the other side. Pretty neat. So we will just weave in this end as before. And I'll just flip it inside out the other way because I think that the seam looks nicer on that side. Now we're going to take our bow and we'll attach it. You can attach it wherever you like, really, on the band. And you can attach it at whatever angle you like as well, but I will just put it front on like that, slightly off center. So we've got this seam that we did directly at the back, so that will sort of sit at the back between the ears, back of the neck, and this will sit sort of to the left of the front of the wearer's head. So we're taking this little tail that we left behind when we were making the little tie for the bow, and we're just going to sew the bow on. Okay, and once that's done, again we just weave in the end. And snip off the excess, and then that is our bow headband finished. So we'll try it on Heavy Baby, see how it fits. There you go. Fits like a glove. And just a little warning here, if you are making this for a baby, don't let the baby sleep in the headband. I know that it seems very unlikely, but it has occurred before that babies have suffocated when the headband has fallen over their face. So I would suggest, if you're making this for a very young baby, to only put it on as a photo prop and then take it off straight away. And definitely don't put a baby to sleep with the headband on, and don't put the baby in the car seat with the headband on where you can't see the baby. So I have a little baby myself and I would hate to think that anything might happen to anybody else's child if they were wearing this headband. So just consider the safety of the wearer when you are gifting this to somebody. But there you have it. There is the Garter Be Kidding Me bow headband, perfect for beginners. All you need to know how to do is the knit stitch and then a tiny bit of sewing, and then you can make this beautiful headband. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you enjoyed this, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to see more tutorials like this. Bye!